It was Tuesday when my world cracked open. I stood frozen in the office parking lot, keys digging into my palm as my boss's words echoed, "We're letting you go." Deep down, I'd felt this coming for months, a quiet dread I'd brushed aside as anxiety. Rewind 6 months earlier. I'd accepted this job despite a nagging voice whispering wrong fit. The salary dazzled me. My logical mind listed the benefits, but my body knew that first handshake felt like holding ice. Day after day, I ignored the physical warnings, the stomach knots during meetings, the constant fatigue that lifted on weekends. I told myself, this is adult life, discomfort means growth. How tragically wrong I was. The dismissal wasn't even the worst blow. That came weeks later when Sarah left. "You stopped being you," she said. My intuition had whispered about our drifting connection long before, but I'd muted it with excuses. Rock bottom found me on a Tuesday too. Sitting on my apartment floor surrounded by rejection letters, I finally asked, what if all those little warnings were trying to save me? The realization hit like lightning. I began researching intuition. Scientists call it neurosption, our nervous system processing information 200,000 times faster than conscious thought. Those gut feelings, they're data points from your life's supercomputer. My awakening moment came during a grocery trip. Approaching the register, I felt sudden unease. Without understanding why, I switched lines. Moments later, the first register broke down. A tiny victory, but monumental proof. I started small. When choosing coffee shops, I'd pause to feel which direction pulled me. When emails triggered tension, I'd wait before replying. I was retraining muscles I'd let atrophy for years. The body doesn't lie. I learned to scan for physical signals. A clenched jaw meant danger. Butterflies meant excited possibility. Heavy shoulders screamed wrong path. My body became my compass. Then came the real test, a job offer that looked perfect on paper, great pay, respected company. But during the interview, my palms went clammy. That familiar sinking feeling returned. I did something radical, asked for 24 hours to decide. That night I sat quietly and asked my body, "Is this right?" The answer came clear as temple bells, a resounding no. Declining felt like stepping off a cliff. Friends called me foolish. But 2 weeks later, news broke about toxic culture at that company. My intuition had sensed what logic couldn't. I began rebuilding my career differently. Instead of chasing prestige, I sought alignment. When touring a small startup, I felt inexplicably energized, that fizzy, expansive sensation I now recognized as my yes signal. Trusting intuition transformed relationships too. When a charming date triggered subtle unease, I honored it instead of dismissing as nerves. Later, I learned about his history of manipulation. My body knew before I did. The magic happened in quiet moments. That inexplicable urge to call my sister, discovering she'd been crying all morning. The impulse to take a different route home, avoiding a massive pileup. Small whispers saving me daily. Of course, doubt still visits. When facing big decisions, my logical mind shouts, "This isn't rational," but I've learned to pause and ask, does this choice make me feel expanded or contracted? The body always answers. I developed a ritual for big decisions: walk in nature, quiet my thoughts, then notice physical sensations. An open feeling in my chest, green light, heavy dread, full stop, no decision made without consulting my inner wisdom. The transformation reached deeper than choices. By trusting myself, I became more authentic. Friends noticed, "You seem lighter." I was finally living without constant second-guessing. Then came the ultimate test. My startup offered a relocation to Paris. Exciting, but my gut churned, exploring why. I uncovered hidden fears about abandoning family. Not intuition, just fear in disguise. I learned to distinguish fear from intuition. Fear screams, intuition whispers. Fear contracts, intuition expands. Fear obsesses, intuition releases. Now I could move forward without baggage. Walking through Montmartre 6 months later, I wept, not just for the beauty, but for trusting myself here. That quiet voice had guided me to a life I'd never dared imagine. Your intuition speaks constantly, in that fleeting hesitation before sending an email, in the unexpected joy choosing the scenic route, in the inexplicable connection with a stranger. These aren't coincidences, they're navigation points. Start today. Before your next decision, pause, place a hand on your stomach. Breathe, ask, what's my body saying? Honor that whisper. It might save you years of wrong turns. That voice you've been silencing, it's not random, it's generations of survival wisdom. Your experiences encoded, your deepest self speaking. Trust it like you'd trust a lighthouse in stormy seas. My journey continues. Some days I still ignore the whispers and stumble, but now I know every moment offers a choice. Logic is your map, intuition is your compass. You need both to navigate this wild, beautiful life.